Hey there, I'm Amy. Welcome, fellow truth seekers. This is the second live stream I'm doing today. I wanted to kind of have two different videos that I am doing. One might be more like left leaning and one more right leaning, just to keep a little bit of uh, equal representation, if you will, from both parties that I like equally and dislike equally. Um, so on this video, I want to talk about former President Trump's new social media platform. And let me share my screen. It's actually very similar to, in my opinion, the metaverse. So I feel like, especially this image that we're seeing on the screen, galvanizing a conservative media universe. Do we see the play there for the new metaverse? Yeah, I think we do. But actually, let me go to this article on MSNBC. It's, where are we here? It's kind of interesting. You wonder how a billionaire that creates his own social media is going to actually keep it unbiased. I feel like it's kind of ironic because of this, we actually see who's behind it, and that's part of the hype. Whereas the metaverse, obviously, we know that Facebook is behind it, but you might not think at first glance that it's a nefarious sort of contriving. Sorry, I'm letting my own personal opinions on the whole metaverse come out here. But my point is that you see the metaverse and you don't think, oh, this is, you know, Facebook trying to take over the world. But you see this and you're like, oh, Trump's trying to take over the world. But that aside, I feel like it's kind of funny. This is apparently called Truth Social, which I am finding a little bit triggering, if you will, because I have sort of started this new path of truth seeking. So let's see. You know, right now they're talking a lot about the funding for it and everything, but it was supposed to have like a soft launch in November, but it hasn't yet. So, former President Trump's new social media venture, Trump Media and Technology Group, and Digital Worldwide Acquisition said they have entered into subscription agreements to raise about $1 billion from a group of investors. It's kind of funny that this is coming out. It's very much like Twitter, from what I understand, and I don't know. Do you think that it can be unbiased? I'm not sure. I don't know how it's going to be the truth, or unbiased truth coming from, obviously, Trump and everything that he represents. And I'm just reporting this from a neutral perspective. I don't I just am pointing out that I don't think it can be unbiased because obviously Trump is backing it. Um, so, what do you think? Are you going to hop on the new Twitter like um, social media platform from the former President Trump? Probably. Um, I think he got kicked off of Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. And that's part of what what caused him to say, I'm going to go and make my own social media platform that I can't get kicked off of. Um, but, I guess it kind of makes you look at this bigger picture of like the billionaires and the elite in the world are really just doing whatever they want. And all of us sort of watching this play out are just little puppets on strings because, people will hop on that platform and they'll be manipulated just like when we hop on Facebook and we're manipulated uh, inadvertently. I mean, not inadvertently. We don't really realize that, we're only seeing content that is being selected for us to see. That's kind of my whole point on this whole truth seeking um, kick that I'm on right now is like mainstream media. Is that what it's called? Mainstream media is not telling us all of the story. They're just telling us the story that they want us to hear. And I feel like that's why I'm doing these stories. I want to, um, I want to be on the side of truth. And actually, it's sort of funny. Probably for the past like 2 years, I have not been on. I haven't really watched the news. I haven't been on reading and hearing all the mainstream narrative. I typically have people that I follow. I have, YouTubers that I like, podcasts that I listen to, books that I read, and all of those are sort of selected. I'm selecting them consciously. But for the past like 2 or 3 months since I ran for a local election, I've been reading the headlines more. And that's, again, a conscious effort to see what is being presented out there in the world. And then now feeling this pull to expose the truth that, you're not seeing on a daily basis and that we're not seeing. So, um, I think that some of the things that have unfolded in the past 2 years with regard to this pandemic, now endemic, I don't know. I've learned a lot more about, our history and sort of the slippery slope that we're on by, just listening to what we think is news, but is actual propaganda from the elites. And I really believe that equally the the elites are Democrat and Republican equally. And so if you think Trump's a good guy or Trump's a bad guy, the fact is they're all up there in the elite. And we need to pay attention because the lower and middle classes are getting poorer and the upper class and the elite are getting richer. And I've talked about the fourth turning on my videos lately because it's a book that I've read recently, and it talks about the sort of culmination of 4 seasons that we've had in the United States. And this season will probably potentially end in a destruction of our government, that the government structure that we know currently will potentially be destroyed. And this is kind of, one of those things where we don't know what's happening in the world, but the patterns that we look at from history, we can see that, it might not end so well. Jay says Trump's a grifter who's got some extremely ignorant supporters. And I think that there are still going to be a lot of people on this new platform on both sides. And I'm sure people will be censored. I don't know how they can, how anyone can have a sort of unbiased perspective when it's obviously paid for by President Trump. So, or former president. So, but thanks for your comment, Jay. I think we just need to point out that there's a lot of not extreme ignorance on both parts, but I'm trying to show a perspective that looks at both sides and realizes that there is ignorance on both sides. But we need to find what's true for us. And we also need to, take a deep breath when we're dealing with people that don't have the same view as us. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. I'm not sure when this new platform will come out. I don't know if I'll get on it, but I will keep you posted. And yeah, thanks for being here. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on the next.